je vous aimerai. Ma foi, je ne sais pas. Peut-être jamais. Peut-être demain. Mais pas aujourd'hui. C'est certain.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to MAFIA Pasta. Now today, we're doing a tutorial on how we did the wiper superpower effect. Now this was requested by JWO, or JW0W, so be sure to check out his channel as well. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to productioncrate.com and download the Particle Burst 1 and the Particle Burst 2. Now these effects can be found on productioncrate.com. I'll leave a link in the description, but you can't leave a link directly to each effect, so you'll have to go to the page that's in the description and then search through all the effects to find the Particle Burst 1 and the Particle Burst 2. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do... So first off, what I have here is I have my original scene. So now, go ahead and drag it to right where you want the effects to start coming out. So find that exact frame and drag the Particle Burst 1 right where you want it to start. So go ahead and scale it to the right size and place it exactly how you want it. And that should look something like that. So then, next, go ahead and get the Particle Burst 2. Go ahead and drag it about, I don't know, a few frames after the first one goes off. So scale it down to size. Get it so it looks right. And so it's right in the position that you want it. So you're going to add another one, but the trick is, with the next one you add, if you're on the second Particle Burst 2, you don't want it to burst, so go ahead and drag it right after the explosion part of it, and cut that first part off. You're going to go ahead and cut the explosion part out. So you're going to cut the first few frames of that particle burst so that it's after the part where it bursts. Then add a cross dissolve to the very beginning of it, like that. So it just fades in. Go ahead and drag that back over the other one where you want it to start. And just twist it, turn it a little bit so it doesn't match up too perfectly with the other. So they look like separate effects. I think that looks about right. Alright, go ahead and grab another particle burst effect, the Particle Burst 2, and reverse that particle burst and put the end of that particle burst right as my hand begins to close, so that it comes out, and then you add another one that's in reverse, so it sucks it back in. You're going to use the Particle Burst 2 and put that on. So now you can see the effects slowly start to suck back in. And right as when my hand is finished closing, that's when you want the end of this one to be. So it sucks it back in. So next up we have the heat distortion effect. Now this is only in Final Cut, but most programs you use should have something like the heat distortion effect, or you might be able to find a heat distortion effect. If you're using iMovie, you might not be able to do this part, but you should be able to do the VFX. So what you're going to want to do is copy your original scene and paste it right on top of the other one. If you're using Final Cut, just go ahead and drag and drop this heat effect. Go ahead and change the color to more of a slightly bluish type of look, and raise the amount, and then go ahead, what you're going to want to do is add a shape mask. So mask it down. I'm going to go ahead and make my mask circular, and go ahead and drag it right where you want it at the beginning of the clip. Alright, so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to keyframe the heat to move with my hand. So go ahead and jump over into your shape mask under transforms and go ahead and keyframe the position. Go ahead and play it for a while until my hand moves, and then just move it. Every few frames, just move it up to where my hand is. Now, as soon as my hand bursts, I want it to get really big. So I'm going to go ahead and scale it up like so that there's lots of distortion coming from my hand. And then, as it sucks back in, you want to very slowly start scaling back in. Like so. And then just do the exact same thing, and just slowly scale it down and follow my hand down. So next, go to your very original scene, and right as the power starts like that, I want to shoot out a shockwave. So we're going to be using the droplet effect, again from Final Cut. You should be able to find some distortion effect like this in most projects you use, but it's going to be easy as if you're following along with Final Cut. So go ahead and scale it down to 0 and drag it right where you want it to start out of the hand. Keyframe the thickness and keyframe the radius. Then go ahead and go about 10 frames or so and drag the radius up. No, wait. And drag the thickness up all the way, and then drag the radius until the distortion effect is out of the scene. And you have your shockwave. Now what you're going to want to do is add another droplet effect to your scene, and as my hand starts to close and suck the powers back in, I want the droplet effect to get sucked back in as well. So scale your second droplet effect out of the scene, and then keyframe the thickness and the radius, and as my hand starts to close, slowly bring it back in to my hand. So now it comes out and comes back in. You should be just about done, so go ahead and go to the beginning, and your scene should look something like this. So now you can add some extra smoke effects. Go ahead and copy and paste those particle bursts too, and then I just want it to start after it is bursted, and then add a cross dissolve on either side, like so. Then go ahead and scale this down. So what I want it to look like is as if there's still smoke kind of dripping from my hand, like that. So you can just kind of do this a bunch of times and slowly get multiple ones, each one getting slightly more faint. Copying, pasting. Like that. There you go. So now your scene should look like this, and you should be just about done. So I only showed you how to do one hand, but that's really all you need to know because the other hand's basically the same thing. So next up, for the lightning effects on the windshield, I used the lightning accent effect. Now this effect can be found on productiongreat.com, and again I'll leave a link to the description to where they keep all their lightning effects, and then you'll have to go through and find the lightning accent. So here you can see I have the original windshield wiper scene without any special effects. Go ahead and drag your lightning accent effect right where you want it to start. So I want it to start about right when the windshield wipers start. Drag it to start there. And then what I went ahead and did is I transformed it so it matched up with that. Then keyframe it, and then every time it flashes, keyframe it so it stays with the windshield wiper, like this. So just every frame, just keep it across the windshield wiper, like that. So now it should look something like this. And then I just added a bunch of those throughout the whole windshield wiper, And basically, that's all you need to know, is just how to do one, and you can pretty much do them all. I also added a particle burst 2 to the windshield wiper with a low opacity. And boom, you're done. Yeah. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna have to go. Because, you see, there's this problem. Somebody has been a little bit naughty and they unsubscribed from our channel. But that's not why we're gonna kill him. No, not at all. You see, the problem is, they didn't just unsubscribe from our channel, but they have been trying to steal our recipe for our secret pasta dish. The Epico Pasta Disho. It's a good name, okay? It's a good name. So we're working on this epical pasta disho, and he's trying to steal our recipe, and if he does this, it's just not gonna be good. So luckily, he comes to the park every day, and he likes to sit in his chair and look like a total creeper, and he's probably gonna be showing up anytime soon. Looks like the creeper has arrived. It's time to take him out.